Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Benchwarmer Sports podcast. I'm your host, Raffi, and as always, I'm joined by Davian and Theodore today. Opening day has kicked off yesterday. The Cubs are undefeated, so they're going to win the World Series this year. That's the only thing that I can come away with this. Theodore's got his Yankee shirt on. I got my Cubs shirt on. I'm sure Davian, if he could, would have a Rutgers
I got
shirt.
my Yankee shirt on. I just don't have it yet.
Oh, my goodness. We got two Yankees and a Cubs. Oh, boy. But, boys, how you guys doing today? Obviously, March Madness, we'll touch on that, but that's over now. But NBA playoffs are just around the corner, and the NHL playoffs, I'm so excited for it. Got to watch the the Frozen Four for hockey, for college hockey. That was a great time yesterday. Denver versus Michigan went to overtime. But yeah, let's just get right to it, boys. How you guys doing today?
Man, I'm straight vibing right now. There's so much going good right now. March Madness was incredible. I was at the Final Four. Tried to get some content up on the TikTok. Apparently, it was viewed as too dangerous to be posted.
You're so reckless. Oh my! You were outside in New Orleans in the rain, I believe it was. You can't remember, guys. The rain. Oh boy, you do. I mean, if you're the Wicked Witch of the West, then I understand why that's dangerous. But I mean, I think Theodore's fine. But yeah,
I sincerely apologize for any damage that I may have caused to any of our viewers.
Absolutely. Davian, how
As there's a deep drive into left field by Castellanos, and that'll make it a 4-0 ball.
I pride myself with being a man of God and being a man. And if I offended anyone, I am truly very sorry.
That is one of the greatest things that has ever happened on television.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Incredible. Yeah. But man, I'm just so glad we have baseball back. This is the time of the year where I get to get excited about the Yankees before the inevitable October heartbreak, but I'm excited for the team right now. Donaldson hit a walk-off single earlier. Watch that happen. NBA playoffs, getting excited. This is one of the greatest times on the sports calendar.
Yeah, I completely agree with Theodore there. I mean, this is sports. I mean, you got the Masters on, you got college hockey. Everything is coming, and I feel like this is like the one time where you really get to enjoy all sports. Raffi, just a quick comment. Yeah, the Final Four for hockey was last night. Got to watch the Minnesota game. Never watched a college hockey game in my life until last night, but I gotta say that was really enjoying to watch, and it'll be interesting to see who wins. But yeah, no, I'm excited. As Theodore was saying, this NBA playoffs, it's gonna be exciting. But I mean, most of all, I mean, MLB seasons, baseball season. We had a bit of a worry that things might not look as usual, but after a quick little blimp, everyone's back, everything's back, and as well as Aaron Judge, who might be back for over a $200 million contract.
That's ridiculous. Man.
I don't know how he rejected that.
Yeah,
7 years, 210. That's a big gamble to take.
Absolutely, but yeah, this time of year is my favorite time of year. It's always busy as a student, whether that be in college or high school, and it's always in my mind. Once you get to the second semester, it's always make it to the start of March. Because once you get to that start of March, you get conference tournaments for basketball. Then you get March Madness, and in a normal year without the Olympics, you get the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, opening day. David, you mentioned the Masters. I know that I'm still not that old of a person because I do not care am entertained by the Masters. So I'm still youthful. I'm only 19, so definitely not in my mid-30s yet, mid-40s. So glad we're rolling with that. But yeah, let's just hop right into it. Obviously, UNC Kansas was on this past Monday, I believe it was. Or was it the Monday? No, yeah, it was this past Monday, which is just crazy to think about because it feels like it was a while ago. But that just might be that I'm so excited for the NHL playoffs, and I'm just hyped up for that. But yeah, let's just talk about it for a little bit. Let's spend like a minute or two just touching on that. Obviously, it was a really good game. UNC up big, and although a lot of people are going to remember UNC for blowing that big lead, which was the biggest blown lead in an NCAA championship game, I think we just got to give props to UNC for just the run they went on. Absolutely. That big win versus Duke before the tournament, the ACC tournament, and just leading through it. They were obviously dinged up. Baycott was hurt. Manic took like 2 shots to the head. Obviously, neither of them were on purpose, but UNC was really, I think if they're healthy, they definitely could have won that game, but props to them. I think a lot of people, once again, are going to remember them for the blown lead, but I just think they ran out of gas and just could not put it together. Also, where was second half Caleb Love at? Love was not in the air, and I was very disappointed. But yeah, I'm going to throw it over to you guys. Let me know what you guys think right now. What do you guys think about the game? What were your takeaways before we move on to the next big part of the show?
It was an incredible game. It was one of the best Final Fours overall, if not the best that I've ever seen. Historical significance aside, even if you throw the Coach K game out the window, you got two great games plus another fun one in Kansas Villanova. I loved the Final Four, and it was amazing. Even better being there in person. I was down, snuck into the Kansas fan section. That was an experience to say the least. Right in the middle of all these diehard fans from the middle of the country. I'll tell you what, those fans really next level, both Kansas and UNC and Duke for that matter. Really take fandom to another level, and it was great getting to see that. But as a whole, great tournament. UNC in one of their best years in recent memory, and this was interesting. I was talking to one of my friends who's a diehard UNC fan. Like says this year sticks with him even more than that 2017 championship run, because he got to send Coach K home twice. You beat him in his last game.
I feel like that's still a win in UNC's eyes. If you're a UNC fan, I feel like that's still a win in the sense that you spoiled Coach K's final game at Cameron, and then you also spoiled Duke's miracle Final Four run to potentially win a championship. Davian, what was your main takeaway from the game? What were your thoughts?
From the game, I'm still a bit confused with this whole, like, you had the court was broken in Saga. Like, I've heard the UNC fans, and I don't know, I've heard, like, a lot of, mixed messages about the court. I've heard that it's broken or it's not. I heard people, like, they're wanting, but, let's talk about the game. The game itself was a great game. The last, 3 minutes were very exciting. Didn't have the privilege like Theodore to go see it, but I think this March Madness has been one of the most memorable in recent history. I mean, I feel like each year it just, kind of gets better and better. But also, we're coming back with March Madness after, I guess you would say a 2-year break, right? Would I be right in saying that we didn't have March Madness for the last 2 years?
No, we had March Madness last year.
Yeah, we had a tournament last year.
We did, but like it's so like look, I can't even remember that because I mean with COVID and whatnot, I feel like it just like the whole bubble. I feel like this is what has been one of the most memorable March Madness in the past few years, really.
Well, yeah, there's so many headlines from St. Peter's to UNC being an 8 seed, making it all the way to the championship. The one thing that I was very disappointed about, and I don't mean to trigger your PTSD, Davian, but the only buzzer beater that we got was in that first 4 matches.
No, we're done talking about that.
Me either, so I don't want to talk about that for that much either. But I was just personally a bit disappointed. We had a whole lot of madness, but we just didn't have any of those signature buzzer beaters. So yeah, I was a little disappointed about that. But aside from that, always a great time. Love March Madness. Let's move on now to what has just begun, and that is baseball. We have opening day was yesterday. The Cubs won 5-4. They look amazing. Not picking them to win the World Series, unfortunately, because we are rebuilding, just like every team. I got the Falcons rebuilding. I got the Blackhawks rebuilding. I got the Cubs rebuilding. We're having a great time right now. Luckily, I have my championships, but it is what it is. But yeah, boys, it's opening day. What are you guys looking for this season? What's a big headline you're looking for, and who do you think is going to take it home this year, the World Series?
I think, in my opinion, the headline that I'm most intrigued by is just the state of the Los Angeles Angels as a whole. And baseball is such a weird sport in my eyes because, like, the Angels most likely have the two best players in baseball. Like, I think most people would say that at this point in Trout and Ohtani. But it doesn't matter. Like, this is a team that most likely will not even be in the playoffs. And it's just so wild to me that you can have Mike Trout, who, look, I don't go into all the deep, analytics and everything, but everyone who's way smarter than me says that he is one of the greatest players of all time. I'm going to take their word for it. I've seen him play a good amount, and he really is a great player, but you just have these two absolute superstars, faces of the league, although don't tell that to Stephen A. But these two great players who cannot carry their team to the playoffs, and it's just such an interesting situation to me in that regard.
One thing that I'm very focused on is teams like the Oakland A's, their whole situation with their stadium. Will they be moved out? The Pirates and also the Orioles, all three teams I think are paying less than $100 million combined. I think each team's paying around like $30-35 million, which is as just a fan of sports in general, it's incredibly shocking that they're even allowed to be that low to the salary cap floor, which is not even a floor. It's technically like $0. So I'm definitely intrigued to see what occurs with them because, I mean, personally, I think it just ruins the sport as a whole with just teams that are just downright tanking. I don't even think they're tanking at this point. I just think that they're fine with sucking, and I think that's ruining the integrity of the game. So those are some teams I'm looking out for. Davian, what's your main headline? And then we'll get into some World Series picks.
I think my main headline is the Yankees. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not a massive fan of baseball. I think this is the year I really want to get into it. I have the time to do that. But, I've always been a Yankees fan, and today's performance was a bit shaky, really. I think, coming off, I feel like the ending, of course, was great to see, walk-off single. But I think there's a reason why baseball almost went into a lockout. And I think the MLB needs to figure out how to, one, grow their fan base, and two, and I guess to grow the fan base, you have to make the game more exciting. You have to, you can't have baseball be compared to golf when it comes to watching it. While we might be avid sports fans who love baseball, which is, I guess you could consider America's sport in a way, I don't think it's really
It's
being
America's
enjoyed by.
pastime.
Yeah, I really don't think it's being enjoyed by that many Americans as it should be. And you're going to see the decline of baseball as soccer and, even hockey continues to grow.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say hockey, like grouping in with baseball. I was gonna be like,
No.
NHL can't market their sport. I'll definitely say that. But
Yeah, I agree with that. But I
the
think,
thing with baseball is
yeah.
it's getting to the point where it's very boring. Obviously, games keep going longer and longer. I personally, as a baseball fan, I'll coin that term. I love going to Wrigley when I am up in the suburbs, and I just love going to Wrigley. It's a great time. I love watching Cubs games in person, White Sox games as well. But you could not. I mean, you could pay me, but you couldn't like just say like, hey, do you want to watch a regular season Cubs game? Come to my house. Like, I'll be like, can we
Yeah,
just do something else? Because playoff baseball is a whole different thing. I love playoff baseball. It's my favorite,
agreed.
one of my
Yes.
favorite things to watch. But baseball itself, it's like a golf match. But the thing is, you have these different, like obviously the Masters, such a big thing. But could you imagine if there's like a golf match like every weekend or like every couple days? No,
Yeah.
golf would just be tanking because I don't think anyone would want to watch golf for that long. I think it's nice to have golf in their portions. Maybe the MLB is like, let's just shrink down their season a little bit. I don't know, but it definitely seems that baseball is kind of growing a bit older, and they're kind of not doing a good enough job getting those young people into it. Because obviously, I feel like everyone grows up playing t-ball, but no one really cares so much about the MLB itself. But let's just go around the table real quick. Which team do you guys have winning the World Series? I don't know what I got. I feel like it's a lot of teams that are kind of leveled off. I'm going to be the boring person and just say the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman, I really like that pickup, and I think they will win the World Series this year.
I want to boo you off the show right now. Come on, man, Dodgers. It's the most basic pick. It probably could happen though. It probably will happen. But,
I mean, it just feels like everyone's the same level this year. I don't really think there's many.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a team that's like, oh my god, like this team is going to win. But yeah.
Well, if you listen to most analysts, I think they'll tell you the Blue Jays are that team. I think they'll tell you, about how incredible Vlad is, all the pieces that they got, and a lot of people are picking them to win the World Series. Almost everyone's picking them to win the AL East. I don't think they'll do either. I think they are very overhyped at this point for a team that only won 90 games last year. We've seen a lot of players recently, guys like Judge, Pete Alonso come to mind. Not perfect comparisons, but a lot of guys have really had their best season be their rookie year. And, a lot of times you'll see this sophomore slump. I think that could be in store for Vlad. They got guys like George Springer, for example, who are some of the veteran pieces who I think may start to trail off in production. I think they're a playoff team. I think they're a wild card, though. I don't think they're going on a run like everyone says they are. My World Series pick is going to be the Chicago White Sox.
Wow.
Everyone loves to hate
I do.
on Tony Lucia.
Granted, I know I'm wearing a Cubs shirt, but I will say a White Sox World Series would not be as bad of a thing as you would think a Cubs fan would take it. But then again, I wouldn't say I'm a diehard baseball fan. But continue on with your point, though. I'm intrigued.
Everyone loves to hate on Lurusa, but he's one of the most. He is the most experienced manager in the league. Okay. Yeah, he's good. Look, I know people don't like him. I think he'll be able to get the best out of his players, including Eloy Jimenez, who was great in 2019, has kind of trailed off a little. I think he's due for a bounce back year. I think Luis Robert is a great player, and they got a great pitching rotation. They got a lot of great guys there. They're my pick to win, especially because they have the easiest path in the AL to a division title.
You know what? Now that you kind of dubbed my pick boring, I'm gonna go with my little spicier pick. I'm just gonna say the Boston Red Sox, which I know you guys also won't like.
Yeah, dude.
Because you're both very
We all
Yankee
know
fans.
why you're saying
But
the Red Sox.
I mean, they went really far last year, made it to the ALCS, and now they're picking up Trevor Story as well. So I think that they have a good chance. I am just trying to say whatever makes somewhat sense. Obviously, once we get closer to the playoffs, I'll have much more logical explanations for why I think teams will go far. But just to start the season, I'll go Red Sox versus Dodgers, and one of those teams will win. Davian, who's your pick? Because I know you're just ready to say not the Red Sox.
Yankees. Yankees are my pick.
Yeah,
look.
That he liked.
I'm just saying. I think we've learned from our experience in October, and I think this is the year. I truly do think.
Look, Davian, I want to pick the Yankees. I really wanted to.
I know. So I'm gonna pick it for you, okay? I'll be the fool of the show, okay? I'll be the fool of the show. We'll look back at this and we'll laugh in October, okay? But I'm picking the Yankees, okay? I just truly believe that they can truly pull it off in October this year.
All right, now
2017.
Don't worry, David. I'll get Theodore into this fool thing. What do you guys think about Mitch Trubisky? We're not going down that rabbit hole again. But no, the Yankees. You guys sound, David. You sound like a Toronto Maple Leafs fan with like this is the year, and it's like it's been over 50 years, and you guys still. It's been how many years? Funny thing, Toronto Maple Leafs have not made it out of the first round. Last time they did that, I was 2 years old. Not even 2 years old. I was 1.5 years old.
Okay, it's been 11 years since our last World Series. Just saying, it's not been that long, really.
I think you're living in 2020 still, man. It's 2009 last year we won it. Look, I thought 2017 was the year. You know, watching that run to the ALCS where we had a 3-2 lead. 2018 they failed. 2019 they fell short. 2020 entered as the favorites, could not break through. And then last year we just saw it again. Every year this team falls short of expectations. I've learned my lesson. I'm not picking this team. You know, as a Yankees fan and a Gonzaga basketball fan, I see this every year. I always think my team is going to go on a run. And they always fall short in some way. I just don't see it. I really want it to happen. I just don't think it will.
You know what you guys sound like right now? Cowboys fans.
That's exactly what I'm.
Yeah, I know. But we are Americans.
I don't mean to make that correlation, but you guys kind of with that 09 thing, I was like, you guys are starting to sound like Cowboys fans. And I know that the two people that are listening from the New York area that aren't you two I'm sure are going to be very annoyed by that comment. But oh well, let's get into the next part of the show, and we're going to be NFL free agencies come and gone, a lot of big moves, so much. We've broken it down the past few weeks. But let's just get into some of the few guys that are still left. Obviously, we got OBJ, Tyrann Mathieu, and Stephon Gilmore. I'm thinking about Jadeveon Clowney. I don't think we're going to include him because I feel like he's always just a late signing just in general. But I think that there is some news about Tyrann Mathieu potentially going to the Saints or Eagles. And then obviously OBJ is injured. Gilmore has yet to be seen. Where do you guys think some of these guys wind up over the next few weeks? Do you think they'll get signed soon? Or do you think guys like an OBJ might get signed closer to training camp? Or further down into training camp?
Gilmore's coming back home. Stephon Gilmore is coming back to the Patriots. I'm saying it right now. Bill Belichick is going to pull some moves. We're somehow going to get cap space, even though we're negative like $3 million in cap space. He's coming back. I'm just going to say that. Tyrann Mathieu, the guy's already... Okay, he's not past his prime, but he's not as fast as he was before. I'll say that. If the Saints sign him, I won't be surprised, but because they do need more of a help in their secondary. But I could also see somebody like the Bengals even signing him.
All right, first of all, let me just say, Davian, you kind of starting to hit at it. Does anyone know how cap space works?
Nope.
Like, I don't get it.
Now with void years too, I have no clue what's going on. I think Tyrann Mathieu, and then I'll throw it right over to you, is probably gonna get like a 5-year deal, but it's actually gonna be a 3-year deal. It's actually gonna be like a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna get like 30 million guaranteed per year, but then like the next year goes like down to like 2 million. Then like their salary bonus if he like ties his shoes properly for like 3 straight weeks, and if he wears the same like I don't know like the same jock for the next like 5 weeks, then he gets like an additional roster bonus of $2,000. And then we can't, of course, forget the sewer fee. If any sewer from FedEx Field pours on to Tyrann Mathieu at any point, that'll also be a fee to cover all of his laundry for the next few weeks. But yeah, not Davian. Theodore, continue on with your point.
Yeah, it makes no like I've been hearing for 2 years straight about how the Saints have no money and now they just go out and they're able to sign people. It makes no sense. And let's just add with everything that all these teams are doing, the Giants still legitimately cannot make a move because they legitimately have no money. Like I'm looking at the cap figures, the Saints have like 20 million in cap. The Giants have like the third worst in the league, like -3 million.
Who are they paying?
I have no
Packers.
idea.
I mean, the Packers are paying people too, but like the Packers, like the salary cap caught up to them
Yeah.
finally. But like yeah,
It's
there's
all
teams like
in,
the Saints that are just
Who
like
are they paying?
I don't know, like it's all in this like wording of contracts, and I don't
Right.
get it at all. Huge credit to these GMs though, who have seemingly completely outsmarted Roger Goodell and the NFL.
Oh yeah, absolutely. These void years are just are like the new trend now, like the new trendy like thing for GMs. But yeah, I think all three of these guys are likely going to get signed, and I think Tyrann Mathieu is definitely going to get signed in the next week or so. Obviously, Eagles, Saints, I feel like are probably like two of the top candidates. Stephon Gilmore, we'll see what happens. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes back to New England and Bill Belichick looks like an absolute masterclass and a half, or his dog picks up the phone and calls Gilmore up and convinces Gilmore to come back because obviously his dog is very good with drafting. I'm sure he's got the salary cap numbers as well. And then OBJ, I think if he wasn't injured, I think he'd be gone already. But now that he's injured, maybe he goes to Green Bay if they can make the money work. I feel like that could be a really good fit. And I feel like the Packers right now really need wide receivers. They're definitely going to go with the wide receiver with one of their first round picks. You'd have to imagine. They'll take another quarterback, of course. But you'd have to think the wide receiver is also another option. Unless they want to go really crazy and take the punter from San Diego State in the first round. That's not a bad pick. Look, the Buccaneers picked the kicker in the second round a few years ago, and that worked out, right? They won a Super Bowl a few years later, so the timeline paid off for them. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But OBJ potentially to the Packers. Maybe he goes back to the Rams if the Rams can make it work. But I think he's just looking for another ring potentially in all likelihood. But speaking of teams that will not be getting a ring, or at least one that's definitely not getting a ring, let's talk about my favorite team. And by my favorite team, I mean the team that I like talking about when they're terrible, the Los Angeles Lakers. They are officially eliminated. Everyone rejoices.
Yes.
Michael Jordan would have never let this happen to the Bulls. He never would have done this. This is why Michael Jordan is better than the Lakers. Is it clear that I'm from Chicago? It better be by now. Michael Jordan better than LeBron. Book it. Theodore, your thoughts on the Lakers missing the playoffs?
I am so conflicted on this team because I love to hate on LeBron, but I hate having to see Russell Westbrook miss the playoffs. It is this real struggle for me. But I think we can safely pin all of this team's struggles on LeBron James.
Yes.
Look, Westbrook's a
I'd
great
love to.
player. He really is. Everyone says, everyone hates on him in so many ridiculous ways. He's a perfect complementary piece for this team. Yes, he's had some questionable court IQ at times, but statistically speaking, is one of the clutchest players in the league. Check Basketball Reference and StatMuse and all that stuff because I don't have it right in front of me. But I guarantee you that I am right about this. He's clutch. He steps up in big moments. But LeBron James, LeGM, did a horrible job of building up this team. Like, come on, Avery Bradley, Talen Horton-Tucker, these should not be significant players on your basketball team. Like, as much as I love Westbrook, you should not have traded Montrezl Harrell, KCP, and Kuzma for him because those were all very good complementary depth pieces. And now the team is just completely devoid of those type of players. And there's also the fact that, the number 2 option supposedly in Anthony Davis can't land on the floor without spraining an ankle and missing 3 weeks. just an absolute horrible situation in LA. And I think that team's future is very bleak, especially with the fact that LeBron is gone as soon as his son enters the league.
Davian, what are your thoughts on the NBA's version of the Arizona Cardinals, aka the retirement home, the LA Lakers?
Man, I mean, look, I did not want them making it into the playoffs because some other team deserved a better shot. This team has been stumbling. They have been tumbling. I mean, really, LeBron, yes, you can pin some blame on LeBron, but you can't pin all of the blame on him. I really think that, we call him lead GM and whatnot, but and then like I was just need a quick comment. This Magic Johnson coming out with like full GM, like, oh, LeBron should have done a better job to get DeRozan and this and that. I'm like, who are you to speak? You are part of this team, and it was in shambles.
Wasn't he the GM a few years ago?
Yes, he was.
Stepped down.
He was a GM, right? Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
It might not have been technically, like, it was some kind of other title, I believe, but he was the GM. He was the one making
Okay.
moves.
All right.
You did a terrible job. I mean, really, like, there's so much you could blame. I mean, you can blame Ron, you can blame AD for not. I mean, you can't even blame AD because he just can't stay healthy. So I don't know if that's like blaming a person. I mean, maybe you should be on the Brady diet because Tom Brady fan here.
The
Brady's
TB12
diet's
diet.
the best.
The TB12 method.
TB12 method, exactly.
Man needs to start drinking some milk. That's what he needs.
Funny enough, milk is actually not like that good for you. Like it does not do.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't have all those health benefits. Trust me, I saw it on YouTube from the science YouTubers.
Look at Raffi the doctor here too.
Exactly.
Benchwarmer biology coming next.
Yeah.
Join research groups right now. We'll see what happens. So yeah, no, that's just me flexing my future in medicine. So we don't need to expand too much on that because this is a sports show. But Theodore, I want to throw it over to you before we wrap up the show, and I can get back to my schoolwork, of course, but also watching some good playoff down the stretch, hockey leading into the playoffs. Give me your thoughts on the Nets. It appears that you are a Brooklyn Nets fan, and although you are a Thunder fan, we do know that you're right. You're right around the area. Sorry, David. I know you're from around the area as well in New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm a Knicks fan. I got nothing to say.
But Theodore, just give me a rundown of the Nets right now. They're currently in the play-in. Obviously, Durant, I believe, was missing time. Kyrie Irving's been dealing with all the shenanigans. Not even shenanigans, just the shenanigans of New York City and all that stuff. So, what do you think about the Nets? Do you think that they can still go on a run? What are your thoughts?
Look, I want to be really aggressive. I want to just absolutely roast this team so much. I can't do it because they are still very dangerous. Kyrie Irving is really has been playing absolutely incredible. He's honestly been outplaying Curry down the stretch, I believe, of this season. He might be the best point guard in the league right now. He's just been taking his level of play to the next level. Kevin Durant, as much as I hate him, as much as I would love to see him lose in the playoffs, hopefully, you combine those two and anything's possible. With that being said, I highly doubt that they'll be able to take down any major team, especially because their first round opponent will be the Miami Heat in all likelihood, if they can even make it there. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this team at this point because they're similar to the Lakers in the sense they have no depth whatsoever. Ben Simmons would really do wonders for them with his defensive presence. I think we talked about it a couple weeks back. I still believe that he is the perfect fit for this team, but you kind of can't help a team win if you're not able to play.
Is Simmons still hurt? I think I saw a thing that he was hurt. Is he going to be ready to go for the playoffs, or is he not?
Well, that's what they're calling it. They're saying he's hurt. I don't think anyone knows what's happening. Nash has gone out and said there's probably no way he's playing for the play-in, which hopefully means that we're not going to see him in action this year. But who knows what to think of that situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, Davian, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Simmons, I think what they're doing right now is covering him up. I think he might be going through the same phase that Markelle Fultz had where he just lost his shot. I think that's what's going on with Ben Simmons
He didn't even have a shot. How do you lose something you don't have? But continue on. I am the person inside Ben Simmons' head. That is absolutely confirmed. I'm just interested. Continue on, Dave.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, we have no clue what's going on with Ben Simmons. We don't know what he was doing off the court for that long period of time when he wasn't playing for the Sixers until the point that he was traded. But I don't think the Nets really go that far. I mean, yeah, they might get out of the play-in. Maybe they'll pull off some magic against the Heat. But other than that, I really don't see them really going that far. Maybe falling to the Bucks somewhere down the line. It's just, yes, Kyrie is amazing. Kevin Durant is amazing, but they don't have the chemistry. There's been so much drama in this locker room. I mean, this stress builds up. You're in New York City, and then you got all this drama around this team. I mean, that just builds up and it comes crashing down on you. And especially in somebody like Kyrie, who, okay, I'm gonna be really like rude to Kyrie, but he's very soft personally. I think that he could easily be like hurt. Like I feel like any comment, I feel like that gets to him really close to his heart for some reason. And I think that's something that Kevin Durant really needs to step in and be a leader and teach him. Like, look, they're gonna talk a lot of shit about you, but you just gotta keep playing, gotta keep winning.
And Kevin Durant, he has probably the best strategy out there, which is just go on his burner to curse out some 12-year-olds. That is
Yeah,
that's truly
of course. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I think what's going on with Ben Simmons is a lot of what, like, I'll make an NHL reference just for the sake of having some NHL talk in the show. It's a lot about goaltending in the NHL, where it's a lot of psyche, where you'll see a goaltender have a really good year one year, and then next year they'll just fall off a cliff, and you just wonder what's going on. Then you learn a lot about the mental side of sports, and some goaltenders, they'll be like Vezina candidates, which is the best goalie in the NHL award, for those who are wondering, and they'll be amazing one year, and then next year they just fall off, and there's all these different mental psyche, different things. So I'm sure the past few years, with just COVID in general, has not been too helpful for Ben Simmons, and obviously what's been going on with the 76ers. We don't really know too much about those details. We just know that he sat out and got traded. So hopefully he gets his head turned back the right way and is ready to go for next season. But that is going to be a wrap for this episode of the Benchwarmer Sports podcast. As always, be sure to follow us on TikTok. We're going to be getting a lot of NBA stuff over the next few weeks as the playoffs kick off. I will be posting a lot of stuff for the NHL as the season unwinds. Currently, I have the Bruins Lightning game on in the background. So far, it's a 1-1 game. Doing a great job. Love the hockey so much. And yeah, follow us on TikTok. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Spotify. Leave us a good rating. That's all we got for this show. We hope you guys enjoyed, and we will talk to you guys again soon. Peace.
And remember to drink your milk.
Yes. Peace.